Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome back to another guide video for Marvel Strike Force. Now in tonight's video we will have an in-depth look at the new Deadpool raid, that's the El Scorcho difficulty. Now the hardest part of this particular raid is the fact that you can only take certain character types into nodes, so there may be one node that you can only go in with global characters, the next node it might be city villain characters for example. Now for that reason you really do have to plan your route and you have to make sure that you've got a team that's capable of beating the nodes or nodes for the route that you will be following. Now with all that in mind, what I've actually done for this video is I've looked at two different parts of it. The first one is I've looked at all the different nodes and I've looked at the routes available, and I've calculated the maximum number of a particular trait that you would come across if you went a particular route. So again, just as an example, if you went the global route, then you could have up to 12 different nodes you would have to tackle. If you were going a route that had city villains, you would only have one city villains node you would actually have to tackle there. So what it means is for the nodes that have got lots of instances, you need to bring in some sustain, you need to bring in some heals because you'll be doing multiple nodes. For the nodes that are maybe only a team you'll use once, then you can simply go in with burst and just smash down the node. Doesn't matter if your team gets wiped or nearly wiped, because you won't be doing that particular character type again for the rest of the raid. So we'll start off first by having a look at the nodes and how many instances of each of these there actually are. So with these nodes here, actually the vast majority of them will be single nodes that you use teams for, and these are the boss nodes where you go up against Deadpool and multiple enemies, and then we have three other more general tags that you'll use very often. So you've got global first, that could potentially have up to 12 nodes. Cosmic has got potentially up to 8, City comes in at 7, and then we start moving over to the boss nodes now. So for global heroes, you will have to fight potentially up to 2 instances of that node. You've then got Guardians and Ravagers. Thankfully they are condensed into one node, something I wasn't aware of earlier, so to be honest I don't really have much of a problem with that particular tag type being used. That's only one instance, and it's the same for city heroes, city villains and global villains as well. They're all only one instance. So that means, as I mentioned a moment ago, you can actually just use a DPS team really to just smash through these. You don't have to worry about healing up for the next node and anything like that. Now with all that in mind, what I'll actually do is I'll break down each of these different categories and I will show you typical teams you can use to defeat them. So I'll show you unlimited team if you've got a wide roster, and then I'll also discuss characters you can use if you're a more free to play player as well. So let's check them out now. The first set of nodes we look at then would be the global nodes. So there are 12 of these in total. That means you will need a form of sustain such as healing to work your way through these. Now the characters I'll look at in this first section will include premium characters. So you've got Black Widow, she's there to provide the speed up to everyone, it really helps in raids. Quake has got the AoE slow. We've then got our heals coming from Shield Operative. Alternatively, you could use Shield Medic if you want, but personally I prefer the Operative. And then we've got Shield Trooper, and just to the right of Shield Trooper you've got Cap, so he'll be doing the tanking for us, but also when he's actually eating up all the enemy attacks, because Trooper is adjacent to him, the Trooper will be counter-attacking, so that can work really nice there. But let's check out the free-to-play setup we would use for the global nodes. From a free-to-play perspective then, we only really have one change here. I would drop Black Widow because, as we all know, she's very hard to farm, and in her place I would put Hawkeye. He's got the awesome cleanse, he's got the fact he can de-stealth targets, and then he's got that blind as well, and of course we've got all the other benefits with the remaining 4 characters that we ran over a moment ago. So those characters should get you through the 12 global nodes. So next up it's the city nodes, and there's 7 of these in total. With these particular nodes then, we really do have a great selection of characters to use. Now the ones I would use, given in mind that there are 7 nodes to get through and you need some sustain and defence, I would use Elektra. She's there for the damage and also the cleanse. You've got Spidey, who's all round fantastic. He's got the slow, he's got the stun, he's got the defence down. You've then got Hand Sentry. He provides you an incredible amount of survivability. just to make things even easier so we're not taking any risks. You'd want to drop in Night Nurse as well. And then finally, from a damage perspective, if you've got unlimited access to characters, I would say you could go for Nobu. He'll bring in the Hand Blade Master and also the Archer that can do some more cleansing for you if required. So with that out of the way, let's have a look at the free-to-play team you would use for the city nodes. Like the global nodes we looked at a moment ago then, we've only got one slight change I would make here. The fact that you can't farm Nobu reliably, you can drop him and you can put Daredevil in his place, and that still retains all the survivability, the cleanse, the utility coming from Spidey, and then you've got some pretty nice damage coming from Daredevil as well. So that would cover your 7 city nodes. You shouldn't have any problems there, and certainly no reason to use medkits or anything like that. Now next up we'll have a look at the global hero characters, and these would need to cover 2 nodes. With us having only 2 nodes to get through here, you could definitely do this without the need of a support class or any heals at all. Now you've got Scarlet Witch. She would be great. She puts the deflect up on the first turn. That works great with Cap because it gives him a guaranteed block when he taunts, and what happens as well, he's got the higher block damage that he actually negates, so that's really nice there. You've got Iron Man, nice amount of damage you can put out, and he synergizes very well with Cap. We then have Black Widow for the speed up, and finally you've got Ant-Man. Now he'll work great because he'll go after Scarlet Witch, he'll cast the slow for 2 turns, and then Scarlet Witch, because she's done her special with deflect in the first turn, she follows it up with the ultimate and she's adding another stack of slow there, so that works especially well with the speed up and Black Widow. They would be the characters you would go for, of course, if you had an unlimited roster. So let's check out the free to play characters for the global hero nodes. So we have a nice easy to farm setup here, and one where you're really not taking any risks at all. Firstly, you've got Wolverine. You farm him through doing your dailies and he's got the regen on turn. You've then got Hawkeye providing the cleanse and the blind. Cap is there as your protector class. Quake will be slowing the enemy down, and then finally, just to make sure we're not taking any risks here because you're not using the most powerful of characters, then you can actually drop in the shield medic as well for some extra heals. So that's a nice simple setup there. Now the next node we look at is the Guardian and Ravagers node, and this is just a single node, this one. So this for me then is the ideal Guardians of the Galaxy setup. We're starting off with Drax here. He's got the taunt in the first turn and it's only one node, so we're off to a great start there. You then got Gamora. She can take out any characters with her special or ultimate. She'll be getting the chain. Yondu's up next. He can call in some summons that can heal and do a nice amount of damage. And then we have Rocket with Star-Lord right next to him. The reason Star-Lord is on the far right is so that the only person he'll potentially provide energy to will be Rocket, meaning he can get his ultimate off even quicker, meaning you can blast your way through this particular stage even quicker as well. Now next up, let's have a look at the free-to-play characters you could use here. So if you don't have the locked Guardians of the Galaxy characters, that's the likes of Groot, Rocket and Star-Lord, then you don't have a lot of options here. I would still go with Drax, Gamora and Yondu. They're all great and easy to farm. The remaining 2 characters, I would go for the Stitcher for some heals, and then finally I would go for the Boomer as well because he does put out a decent amount of damage, and that would be the characters you would use for the Guardian Ravagers node. The next one we look at is the Cosmic nodes, and there's actually 8 of these in total. So this particular team here is one that I actually used earlier on for Cosmic, and I was able to absolutely smash through the nodes I had. Now we've got 2 tanks here. The great thing about these 2 tanks is Drax and Thanos, of course, is the fact that they actually have self-heals. Drax has the drain and Thanos has got the heal on his ultimate. We do have the chance of getting additional heals here as well through Yondu if he can summon in Stitchers, and then our damage will be coming from Star-Lord and also Rocket. With Star-Lord being on the right hand side again, he will feed energy to Rocket. With Thanos being in the middle, he can actually feed energy to Rocket or Yondu. Absolutely love this team setup here. Now let's check out the free to play one you can use. So this team here, given the fact we have 8 nodes to run through, could be a little bit riskier, and I would say that if you feel that you maybe don't have a high enough power to take that additional risk, then what you can do is you can drop Korath and instead have the Stitcher in for some heals. But with this setup, you've got Drax doing the tanking, Yondu is bringing in summons that can do damage and potentially heal, Gamora's doing the damage, and Mordo can actually mitigate a huge amount of damage as well with his slows, stuns, and also his blinds, and then Korath is there for additional damage. But again, as mentioned, you can drop Korath for the Stitcher if you feel you need a dedicated healer in there. Now the next set of nodes we look at is the city hero nodes, and this is just again one node here. So this here is actually another really fun setup. You've got some great synergies between Miss Marvel and Luke Cage, because Cage is more of an off tank given the fact that his defense up isn't tied in with his taunt. So you also have the synergies between the brawler classes. So you've got Miss Marvel, Spidey and Daredevil, so they'll be doing a ton of damage due to all the assists there. And then finally, just to make sure we're not taking any risks here, you can drop in Night Nurse as well. So this would make the City Heroes node really nice and easy. Now let's check out the free to play characters you could use. So really not a lot of changes here, as you can see. The only character we're changing is we're dropping Miss Marvel because she's not a guaranteed farm, and we would replace her with Jessica Jones there. She provides us with a cleanse, which we don't actually have, and she can also remove any debuffs from her team should they be placed on us, so she really can be a useful character there. Now we've got another single node here. This one is the City Villains. With the city villains then, it means you've got a choice of using either hand allies or mercenaries, or why not mix the two as I'm doing here. So the dream team that I would use for this, you would have the Handblade Master, does a ton of damage. You've got Nobu, so he synergizes very nice with the rest of the hand members. Sentry's there to provide enough survivability to get you through this single node. Elektra has the cleanse and her nuke on the ultimate, and then finally you can get additional damage and speed up on your characters from the Merc Lieutenant as well there. So that combo would allow you to absolutely smash through this node. Now let's check out the free to play characters. Once again then, we don't really have much we would change here. We would drop Nobu because he is a premium character, and you can replace him with another hand character. I would say the Hand Archer could be good. It's giving you additional cleanse, and also with the hand team, the Hand Archer gains more damage the more hand members are in the team. So you pair that up with the defense up from Merc Lieutenant, and that could work out really great there. Now we've only got actually one more node to go now. It'll be the Global Villains node, and again this is just a single node. This particular node here then has probably the most limited number of characters you can use. You've only got 3 named characters, and one of them is Scientist Supreme, so there's no chance we're going to actually use her. Now this node as well is the final node on the right hand side path, so it can be pretty tricky. The team that I would actually use for this, you've got the Aim Security. She actually has a ton of health. She applies slow to herself as well, meaning the taunt will be on her for quite some time. You've got the Hydra Sniper to put out damage. Same with Winter Soldier, he can put out exceptional single target damage. You then have Hydra Rifle Trooper who can put out exceptional AoE damage, and then finally you've got Crossbones. Now we're using Crossbones and the Aim Security because there is a chance if you taunt up with Crossbones and try and use him as a tank, you'll get taken out before you can use that Detonate, and the Detonate along with the AoE on the Rifle Trooper really will be key to beating that final node there. But that's the team I would actually use if I was going in from a free to play perspective, if I could choose any characters as well. So that is all the different nodes now covered. So hope this has been useful. Let me know in the comments below what actual combinations you'll be using for the different nodes. Let me know how you're getting on with the Deadpool raid, and as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.